Hey everyone, Monica's update. You've got fans out there who are so proud of what you're doing. Yeah. This is tough, you know.
So am I.
Especially the last year on the planet, because, well, when I started seeing everyone staying at home and cooking, I thought, oh my God, I'd put on a stone in a month if I was doing all that. But anyway.
That's when I lost bulk of it, because I was out in the garden. No
Yeah,
food
right.
in the garden.
Nice, nice. So this morning was at 42 kilos off. Is that right?
No, not. Yeah, 40 this morning.
40 this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you were hoping for 42. But Monica's throwing in a lot of fasting, so I sort of figure something's going on. Because we're still back in the 70s, aren't we, since the last time you weighed this amount?
Mm.
Yeah. So tell me about your weight as a kid.
I was fat. I was a fat baby. And
So if you were looking at your grandkids and you were the weight you were as a kid, would you think they were fat?
No, I was fatter.
Oh, you were fatter?
Yeah.
Okay. Just checking, you know, because
Yeah.
sometimes we think ourselves, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And how did that impact you?
Well, everybody else could run around, and I didn't want to like running around because I was,
Yeah, okay.
it's only I was made to do tennis that I did that. I was not good at it, but
Yeah, right.
that's at school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And food-wise?
Oh, you'd have your meat and veg, but it was all cooked in fat and.
But looking back now, that's not a bad thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So
That's
with
true.
your newfound knowledge,
Yeah.
so looking back, where do you think the mistakes were?
Yeah, sweets.
More
Yeah,
the sweets.
We had sweets every night. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
And what sort of sweets?
Puddings and
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I can't remember just having fruit
Yeah,
salad
okay.
and ice cream sort of thing.
Yeah, okay.
We did have ice cream, but then we had the topping on it.
Yeah, okay. Oh, okay.
I know now you're not supposed to have that.
Oh.
But then we ate brains and tripe and all that stuff too.
Yeah, right. I had brains a few years ago. Jay didn't want to have any. I had to have that one by myself.
Yeah.
It was after we stopped being vegetarian, of course.
I must admit, I didn't mind the brains too much. Like,
I don't mind offal.
okay.
There's a British fish and chips place out at Birkdale that we go to sometimes, and they do all sorts of...
Yeah, that was on the radio the other day.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we love them.
It's a British fish and chip shop. or something.
Yeah. Okay. Well, all we've done is talk about childhood and a little bit of your the food, and we've already got survival, deep survival, and hidden deep survival. So one would imagine there was a little bit of stress back then. Now,
Yes, stress, fear.
yeah, that energy of fear, that energy of survival. Yeah. Okay, so let me just ask in relation to any and all genes associated with obesity. And hold. 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 Hold.
It's not working.
That's not working. So that's just asking through the immune system and the inflammatory pathways, and something's in there messing with the genes. Okay, so, and funnily enough, you know, the fasting that you're doing, it improves the microbiome. Like if you've heard that with...
Yeah.
And both of them talk about the microbiome, don't they?
Yeah.
I was listening to a couple of researchers this morning because there's been a couple of studies that have been released in the last 6 months,
Mm.
just sort of looking at, you know, the amount of chronic disease there was 50 years ago compared to the amount of chronic disease there is now.
Mm. There'd be more now, wouldn't there?
Oh, crap loads more. So back in the 60s, only about 5% of people had an inflammatory disorder. Now 55% of people have an autoimmune disease. So their body being attacked in itself.
Yeah.
And one of the sort of, you know, because we're reading a lot about, you know, the way a lot of these medications work and stuff like that. But one of the things I heard about genetically modified organisms is that one of the technologies that's being developed is that the plant itself can keep creating, you know, sort of like the messenger RNA in the vaccine of Moderna and Pfizer. The messenger can be in the cells of the plant to keep creating pesticides.
And then the pesticides are going into you.
And then we're eating the plants and the pesticides are going into us. And the thing about pesticides, of course, you know, so we can scrub the fruit or the veggie or whatever, but if it's inside the plant itself, there's nothing we can do about that. So, you know, we've got the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15 with the Dirty Dozen with the biggest percentage of weight of pesticides in them, so that list is released every year. And the Clean 15 are the safest ones from a pesticide perspective. But I'd never heard that concept until yesterday, so that's very new for me to know that that's a thing that plants can apparently do. Had you ever heard that before?
No. But I can't get the vegan and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I couldn't survive. So you like my meat.
Hold out. Don't need
Oops.
to. It's not illegal yet. Okay, so that one's orbitofrontal cortex, so there's some real conflict in your brain. And I sort of, and I'm sure you do as well, like you're doing some really nice experimentation on your body.
Yeah.
Like you've experimented in the past. You know
Yeah.
what bread does to you.
I
You
know.
know what sugar does to you.
I know.
No, but you also know how to fix it now as well.
Yeah.
You've got really good mechanisms up
It
and
wasn't
running for
actually
fixing
bread,
it.
it was those things.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. But they're most probably just as bad as bread. I didn't get the lotion, have to have it.
Yeah, we haven't eaten Subway for like 15, 20 years, but I remember once when we went into Subway because the kids wanted it, and we actually got them to scoop out all the bread on the inside of the, you know, so they chucked all the inside bread and we just had like the hollow. Maybe we saw that on The Biggest Loser or something, but anyway, I saw it somewhere and thought, that's a good idea.
I don't know, I've got a bit of a craving for Subway.
Yeah, right.
No, but I haven't been there. But then that KFC, I wanted KFC ages ago. Still haven't been there.
Did you ever have that sort of thing as a kid?
Yeah. And when we were first married. That
So I
was
wonder
our-
where this is
That
coming.
was our Friday treats.
Right. And did you
Takeaways.
guys get along really well on those Friday nights?
Yeah.
Was that like a
Yeah,
fun
that was-
night
yeah,
because
that
it was
was-
fun and easy and
Yeah.
yeah, right.
That was back in the early days.
Hmm.
When the kids were little, because we'd either have, I'd cook a meal or we'd have takeaways with candles.
Yeah.
So the kids were really good with candles, but you had people over and you had candles, they'd be playing with them all dinner and I'm thinking, oh, God, kids don't do that. But they were brought up with it, so.
Yeah.
And then we had wine.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was relaxed and fun
Yeah,
and easy.
that's right. The end of the week.
Yeah. Well, we'll probably go out and have a Guinness tonight somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay. So it could be childhood, could be married. How old were you when you were married?
25.
So with the survival pattern we're still running, it doesn't have a specific age connected to it yet. So sometimes they don't, because it's more something that's been, and that might have come, okay, let me ask. No. So, no. Okay. So we just don't need to go there yet. Okay, so let's go find out what organs were messed up by these little survival patterns. Large intestines. You never had appendicitis or anything like that?
I had a floating appendix, but it never turned into appendicitis.
Floating appendix.
Yeah.
Not heard that term. What does that mean? It was pain.
I just got all the pain
Yeah, right.
like that, but they said if I got sick, take it to the hospital straight away.
So you managed to keep it.
Yeah.
Well done. Breathe in and out. Which blood group are you?
Oh,
Yeah, breathe in.
positive.
Yeah, nice. And out. Breathe in and out. You'd have to have some Irish in you, I'd imagine. Breathe in
Yeah.
and out. It's funny on my
That's why I'm grumpy. I haven't got anything green today.
breathe in and out. Except your watch.
Oh yeah.
Breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. Okay, so femurs, they're okay. I'm going to check the fascial arteries on the side, relates to the large intestine energy, which is grief, guilt, regret. Hold up. How
Yeah.
soon after you got married did you know? Hold up.
Well, Mum said to me 6 weeks after we were married that he's not the guy you married.
Yeah.
But I was still okay with it then.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was mainly after the kids came along.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on to the edges of the table. Quadratus lumborum, also for the large intestine. Hold out. And
Yeah.
hold out. I'm cut. Yeah, nothing. nothing.
I tried.
Yeah. Actually, I'll check lung as well, since lung, large intestine. Lung is yin, large intestine's yang. Hold back. Oh, right. No. Hadn't got to lung yet. Hold back. Not as bad as large intestine, but lung's the yin energy. It feeds the large intestine, so they have a yin-yang relationship. Okay. Did you have to put on a happy face with him all the time?
Of course I did.
False pride's showing up?
And then when you go out, oh, you're a happy married couple.
Yeah.
That's why when we split up, people didn't realise, oh, she's so happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how long till you started building up an intolerance to it?
It was mainly after the kids came along.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so
Because
it's sort of
that's when I mainly got the migraines too. I didn't have them before.
interesting.
It was when the kids were around about 18 months.
Yeah.
2 years, 3.
Yeah, and there was sort of like toxic shame energy, self-worth energy, you know, so both of them will be as a direct result
Yeah.
of getting that feeling like, oh my gosh, what have I done, and having that regret.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Not being able to let
And
go
now,
because you're in there.
I've got 2 children as well, so.
You were being slow boiled in your marriage.
Oh, I'm happy now.
Exactly. Okay, so hold up, negatory. Hold up. Okay, so
I try so hard.
was that from childhood Was that from marriage? More from marriage. Okay. And was it a repeated pattern from dad, repeated pattern from mum, repeated pattern through the genes? No, you created a whole new level of lack of self-worth with your hubby. So gave you third stage chronic fatigue, with your base chakra. So just never felt safe. Your self-worth, self-esteem.
Everything was fine.
Yeah, your self-worth, self-esteem just never felt safe around him.
And then when he told me I embarrassed him, I said,
oh my gosh.
Well, what do I do?
Maybe in childhood, so even though your dad was a bit explosive, maybe because you got so much positive from your mum, it might have helped to counterbalance it.
Yeah.
Whereas in your household, obviously your kids were amazing.
Yeah.
But there's only so much you can get from your kids to counterbalance the negativity from your partner.
It's amazing. Whoever saw him first would work out what sort of mood he was in and come and tell everybody else.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah. So then, we all knew to behave ourselves. Don't say too much.
And hold. Hold. Okay, so we've gone from third stage stress to second stage. Now it's your base chakra standing up and going, don't you hurt me. Okay, well, we need to get it back to neutral. So where do we need to go next?
Because he went to hit me once, and I said, no, you won't hit me. I'll be gone. I would have been gone because I saw it with Mum.
Yeah, right.
I wasn't gonna be black and blue. Sorry.
Well done. And he didn't?
No.
But
He put his hand up and no, sorry.
well done.
I didn't like getting hurt for nothing.
Yeah.
Okay, if you've done something wrong, yeah.
Hey,
You get
don't
smack and
even-
stuff like that, yeah. But yeah.
no one ever deserves to get hit. Heather. So, obsessed with own troubles and experiences. So this is so imagine having all those years not being able to speak at home, and then you get married, you've got the same thing, all those years not being able to speak at home. So so it ends up making the brain think about stuff rather than being able to
Just
come
put
up.
it out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because like you say.
But see, I'm still like that in some ways.
Yeah.
Depends on who I'm around.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Some people I can just blurt out whatever I want, but other people I think, oh no.
Yeah. It's like with everything going on the planet. One of my guys, he's this big burly dude with tattoos everywhere, and
Yeah.
he was at his barber the other day, and the barber's like, when are you getting the jab? And he said back to him, oh, are you going to get it? And he said, yeah, absolutely. He went, oh, okay. And he managed to sidestep the question.
Yeah.
I thought, well, with my beliefs, there's no point having a conversation here.
That's right. Someone said something the other day and I said, oh, it's no use talking to you. You've got your own opinion.
Like two honest people should be able to simply have a discussion, but there's a lot of dishonesty out there in the politics and everything of it, so that it's really hard.
But why do they have to bring politics into health?
Yeah.
You know?
I had never realised how political health was before. And if politicians had the same first do no harm, that doctors are supposed to, but as you know, here in Australia, doctors are going to get disbarred if they say anything. So we're not going to get informed consent because they're not allowed to give information.
Yeah.
Which is very interesting.
So if you want an honest opinion from your doctor, you're not going to get it anymore.
They're not allowed to.
So what's the point of going?
Oh my gosh, it's so scary. And then throw money into the equation. Our Aussie doctors are getting 3 times the normal amount of money for giving this jab to normal vaccines.
Okay.
No incentive there.
I heard something different from that.
Oh, did you?
Oh, I don't know. I could have been wrong too. So.
Well, what did you hear? That's the thing. I heard that somewhere.
I believe that they had to jump through hoops to even get to be one to give it.
Oh, could that be because it has to stay minus 80 degrees until, it's probably a bit of a challenge as well.
So I think that's what some of the doctors were saying, was costing them more give the jab than with the flu injection.
Yeah, right. No, I hadn't heard that side of it. That's interesting. But informed consent, they should be allowed to tell people which jab it is, and they should be able to read the side effects before people agree to the jab, neither of which they're allowed to do. So you got good training in your marriage not to speak your truth. You've been trained very well.
That's why I think sometimes that's why I can't make a decision. I really find it so hard.
But you're getting better. Yeah. And maybe that's why you're loving your challenges with your weight so much. Because that you can do.
Yeah.
And you know you can do
right,
it. You know, and then you get that positive feeling and you get the dopamine, serotonin, feel good.
Yeah. I was talking to one lady about the fasting, and so she ended up doing it and she's lost 8 kilos.
Good stuff.
So I'm so proud of you.
Central meridian. Okay, so once again, something spiritual. So, nope, that's gone. Let's have a look. Nope. Nope. Tuning fork combo. Okay. Liver. Ooh, double liver. Internalized resentment and anger.
Okay.
Double bunger.
What did I just say before? I'm not resentful anymore.
There, it's all gone.
But it's most probably still in there though.
Yes.
You know, like it's not in the head anymore. But
And this is the thing, it can store in the fat tissue. So you get to this level, because, you're in the older stuff you're releasing. You've been good with your water, I assume.
Yeah.
Okay, so liver. Right, feeling unimportant and unadaptable. Did you feel important with your dad? Did you feel like your dad loved you?
I wondered sometimes.
Okay.
My sister was the
Favourite?
yeah. I'm the middle one, so
Yeah, right. Middle child syndrome.
yeah.
Middle monkey syndrome. You've heard my monkey story.
I don't think so.
No. They did a study on some monkeys who have a really specific hierarchy.
Yeah.
And so the one up the top, he has 0 stress hormones because he's like, king of the jungle, knows his way around. The ones down the bottom, they know they're never going to be on the top, so they also have really, really low levels of cortisol, stress hormones and stuff. It's the middle monkeys that have the most cortisol and stress hormones because they don't want to go any further down the totem pole, and they know that if they do a little bit better, they're getting closer to the top.
Yeah.
But it's like that middle monkey syndrome.
Yeah.
So I'm a middle monkey child as well.
Oh, two of us.
Third out of fourth, yeah. Okay, so decision making is about creating your reality.
That's so hard.
So this double liver energy, it's about total inability to believe that you can create.
Yeah, that could be right.
So even the perspective of, and I know you couldn't have done anything else because of your religious beliefs, but even being in there and knowing within a few years that, holy crap, what have I done? And just waiting it out. It's a long time to wait out on this planet of ours. So, but your body's ready to dissolve it. So you've done most of the work. So it goes transmute, transform, transcend, dissolve. So it's at the dissolve stage. Okay. So we'll run the liver. I take responsibility for my attitudes and now choose to kindly, gently, lovingly and supportively dissolve my disbelief in my own creative ability, my disbelief in my ability to create my life into all-encompassing love. I make the commitment to kindly, gently, lovingly and supportively believe in myself and my inspired creativity and expression. I take responsibility for my attitudes and now choose to kindly, gently, lovingly and supportively dissolve my creative block and my disbelief in my own creative ability and my disbelief in my ability to create my life into all-encompassing love. I make the commitment to kindly, gently, lovingly and supportively believe in myself and my inspired creativity and expression. So your dad suppressed your creativity as well, and then hubby did too. So as a kid, what did you love to do creatively?
We used to play school.
Yeah.
Three of us. That was about it.
Yeah?
Yeah. We were not allowed to go anywhere. If you walked to the shops to get a loaf of bread or something, all three of us had to go.
And your sister was the golden child?
Yeah.
Was she the oldest?
Oh, she's youngest.
Oh, younger. The baby.
Baby Snowball. But when I think about it, the two of them weren't real, they were more dad's kids. But I was really mum's girl.
So you had that. Yeah. Nice.
So I think I've always had the empathy too, whereas the others, So I know the time that Mum said that she had a lump in the breast, my sister just came in and said, "Oh, you're not going to die." And I already said, "Well, how about we go to the doctors?" Go on.
Okay. Right. So second child. I assume you were a wanted child? Because in around that 6, 7, 8 weeks in utero, so being, size of a pea or smaller, that's sort of where the bliss point happens. So it's that moment of recognition that you're going to be pregnant, you know, as the mother, but it's also the recognition by the baby as being separate from the mother, because the consciousness of the mother going, holy moly, I'm pregnant, impacts. So it's around that time, at that bliss point, where, so there must have been something going on with your mum. So I wonder whether or not she didn't want to tell your father for some reason initially. How much space was there between you
It's
and...
18 months between us.
Okay, so fairly
Yeah.
you're fairly close, yeah, okay.
Whereas there's 4 years between me and my sister.
Right,
And I don't think she was one.
right.
I think Dad's, because I remember being at the hospital and we were all having blood tests.
Yeah.
And I believe that Dad didn't think it was his child.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, imagine that for your mum.
I know.
So I was just thinking very naughtily about my great-grandmother. She was a bit of a hussy, apparently. I wonder whether something was going on in their marriage at the time, because there's a bit of escape energy, wanting to run away. There's a bit of, so this is you, like being, you know, itsy bitsy teeny weeny, the energy coming through your mum, obviously. So throat chakra, so she might have even been in that spot where she couldn't speak. Yeah, wanting to run away, escape, submission, freeze. Because the abuse started fairly early in her pregnancy, in her marriage.
As far as I know, yeah. But see, she didn't talk about things like that. Yeah, it's more what I saw.
Yeah. Did she take on the blame of it? Like, you know, you said it unless you deserve it, which
Yeah.
I know you were joking.
Yeah. I don't know. In my marriage, I thought I was to blame.
Right.
So I guess.
So in the same
She
way,
might have,
part
yeah.
of your childhood belief is that eating food in fat
Yeah.
was bad, whereas
Yeah.
really it's the sweets.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And I suppose those are the words being said to us
Yeah.
in those relationships,
That's
aren't
right.
they?
Yeah.
That you deserve it, and you're triggering me, and you know, all
Yeah.
that sort of stuff, or whatever the words
Yeah.
were he would have said. So you would have heard them as a child.
Oh yeah. Yeah. History just repeated itself.
Mm.
And I think now, should you just get out of a marriage when things are not right? But Mum stayed in it, I stayed in it.
Oh, yeah.
Because I thought it was the right thing to do.
And that's the religious
The religious
upbringing
side coming
as well.
through.
Yeah, yeah. But I still think, does God want you to be miserable? Like, really? Which war was your dad in? Yeah, right. Sorry, my brain thought, well, he'd be totally screwed then, being in 2 wars. Poor sweetie.
He had mates that he'd meet up with and something like that. And that's the only time I would imagine that he would have spoken about anything like that. So it was never spoken about at home.
Yeah, what have we done to generations of people going to war, you know? It's just hideous. Yeah, so this little bliss point, when it gets disconnected, so when as a little, tiny itsy bitsy few cells, you become separate from your mum at that moment and realise that you are alone, that you're not in this, because it's really a state of bliss in there at that stage. Let me just go and have a look. Yeah, right, so adding to anxiety and edginess, because the bliss is sort of taken away a bit, adds to some sorrow. Discouraged. I mean, these are the grown-up versions of what happens in the cells. Feeling empty. Yeah, right, also messes with the self-worth. Makes you feel powerless. Okay, interesting. Okay, maybe that. And hold, okay. Oh, no. The bliss point is in third stage stress. So that little time, being itsy bitsy weeny teeny baby. Yeah, so fringed violet. Fringed violet is that flower essence to do with shock, trauma, damage.
Okay.
And one of the doctors I've been listening to, might be Bruce Lipton, might be someone else. But I think he was chatting with that English comedian who does a whole bunch of podcasts. Anyway, yeah, and he was sort of saying that they know that the cells follow the energy. So it's like the energy that's going on in the body, and then the cells start replicating. So if the energy is good, then it's sort of like it can change the way things replicate.
Yeah. Funny all this is happening today, because I was thinking this morning, I wish Mum was around now to have a chat to her.
Oh,
Yeah.
maybe it's time to see Sanu again.
Yeah.
6 drops. And hold. Good. Yeah, so the shock trauma has been taken out of that bliss point. Nice. Do you ever have a chat to her?
Yeah, sort of sometimes, yeah.
One of my clients has a hubby in a dementia home,
Oh, okay.
and she feels much better when she gets up and just chats away, in her house,
Yeah.
sort of to his photo or to his energy, or
Yeah.
she just feels better, more connected, more switched on. Then people say to her, it's not healthy, and then she doesn't do it and she feels really depressed.
Half the time we're better off not saying anything to anybody, but then that's sort of not being free to speak, isn't
That's
it?
right, yeah. And plus we're all humans.
Mm.
Humans need humans.
Mm.
Yeah, I heard this morning that one of the new problems being associated with people wearing masks for a year non-stop, they're getting a thing called mesothelioma, which is the thing from asbestos. So it's such a similar thing when people are breathing in tiny little fabric particles and plastic particles, and that is also being drawn directly into the lungs and creating.
Because it's not natural.
No.
It's natural to just breathe.
Yeah. So Dr. Judy Mikovits, she wears a colloidal silver mask. So therefore it's got antibacterial something in it. But she was arrested last week. And you know. No, that's good.
Just one wonders if freedom of speech will be taken off us one of these days.
Feels like it's halfway there.
I suppose it gets back to what I said before. With, I know who I can talk freely to, and other people I can't. You know, I really think about what I say.
Yeah, and if you think about it, anyone should be able to say anything to anyone as part of a discussion. Because you should be able to qualify what you say as well.
And it's quite healthy to have an argument, you know.
Yeah.
Oh no, well, I don't think that, you know.
Yeah, really?
And,
why not?
Yeah, and then, well, then
Exactly.
then you've got a say to say something else about it.
Exactly.
Sometimes what comes out first is not really what the whole thing.
That's right.
So you can add to it,
Or people's brains are so taken in, because if I'm thinking about what I'm thinking about while you're saying a big sentence and I only catch on to that little bit and then I say, hey, blah, 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 they say, no, you didn't hear what I said, which happens all the time as well. Because our brains, it's hard work, and if we're constantly thinking about how to rebut or how to respond to someone, we're not listening openly to the other person.
Yeah, you said to me one day, don't you have ears?
Okay, so once
Just laugh
again,
back at it because I just didn't expect it to come out,
yeah.
and I wasn't listening properly either.
Nah. Well, it's easy to do because our brains do several things simultaneously. So I want you to close your eyes for a minute and imagine being in your mum's womb. Being an itsy bitsy teeny weeny, small as a grain of rice. And just draw in some light and love into that area. Whatever colour works for you, golden or white or blue or love pink. Whatever works. And just imagine that love, that energy growing and growing so that you can feel the bliss of being in that womb. Okay. Now imagine that bliss being somewhere in your body. So let me see where, do you have a spot where it wants to be? Okay, heart chakra. Okay, so it's muscle testing up strongest in your heart area. So now I want you to imagine that bliss energy, that bliss ball energy in and around your heart. Having it expanding all through your childhood, keeping you safe. Expanding so it's in and around your mum when you guys are chatting. It's expanding, it's in and around you when you go to school. It's expanding, it's in and around you when you're in those teenage years. And it's expanding in and around you when you're choosing to get married. Just feel that love, feel that bliss, feel that energy, feel that light. Let it radiate through every cell in your body. Breathe out all the negativity from every cell in your body that's been held in there. entire life. Breathe in light and love. Breathe out negativity. Breathe in that bliss. Breathe out any resentment. There you go, Madonna.
Thank you. Rightio.
So you need to bring your bliss ball in any time
Yeah.
you're having a moment.
Yeah. Thank you.
And because you need your mum close by at the moment, just imagine it bigger so that you and her are in your little bliss ball simultaneously. Have a chat. Have a chat.
I've got a photo on my dressing table now.
Oh, nice. The last chapter of one of those books, you know, one of those really old books from 100 years ago, like How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
The last chapter, it's been 20 years since I've read it, but it's sort of like visualize yourself sitting at a table with people you love and respect and having a conversation with them.
Okay.
So because you already have an association with them,
Yeah.
it's about being able to go, well, what would you do in this situation? And because we know some people so well energetically, sometimes we get a conversation flowing with these people that can help us also with that decision making and coming up with solutions. And it sounds like at the very least you could have a good old cup of tea with your mum.
Yeah. With the cup and saucer.
Exactly. And the pretty little flowers, no doubt.
Yes.
Yeah. Thanks,
Thank you.
Monica.
Okay, thank you.
See you, everyone.